Good afternoon. It's good to be with you again here at City Hall. I'm in the mayor's office, but you get to have a little bit of a look inside the mayor's office. It's good to have you with us again. Remember, you can write in questions at any time. You can be a part of what we're doing, and we'll respond to those as best we can before we're done with today's message. As you know, a couple of weeks from now, we're doing these every 2 weeks. It's going to be Thanksgiving. I'll not be with you on Thanksgiving. However, I want you to know that I will be here at a local restaurant as I am every Thanksgiving and celebrating with 100 new recruits out of Lackland Air Force Base that have probably been in their first basic training for a week or two. And what a treat that is for me to be there with them, typically at their first Thanksgiving that they're away from home. So it's an enjoyable day. So we'll be back on the 7th. We're trying to arrange a visit outside of City Hall, and I'll be over at our Boerne Animal Shelter and sharing with what's going on at that particular place during this time. But speaking of animals, let's start off with talking about not to feed our ducks and our geese down at the river. Boy, this has gotten to be an overwhelming problem for us. It's been a long-term tradition for us to have our wonderful park down there, have River Walk right down there, have the ducks and geese, families come and they feed them. But unfortunately, it's what they feed them. We're feeding them French fries and bread and all of that human food, which leaves those ducks and geese unhealthy and malnourished. What it also means is they are polluting our creek down there, our wonderful park, and our walkway to the point now where we have got one employee fully dedicated to keeping that place clean and healthy because of the waste as a result of their diet. Now, before we get to the point where we say we just can't do anything down there and ban any feeding, Council has asked staff to please up the game and do a very aggressive educational process. So hopefully we can educate the people that go down there and enjoy a beautiful Sunday afternoon doing that. And we'll see if we can't curb some of this issue that we are helping. So anything that you can help, if you go down there and you are part of what has been going on, please select your food a little bit better and see if we can't resolve the issue that we've got down there. Trees at City Park. It was a great opportunity. Every year, as you know, Boerne is a tree city, USA Tree City. We're very proud of that. We're very proud of the tree ordinance that we've got here. We're very proud of the opportunity that we get to share in the preservation of our environment. One of the things that we've done every day on Arbor Day is to plant a tree. And but this year, because of a partnership with our Rotary Noon group, along with Burkett Land Care, they came through, and instead of planting only one tree this year, we were able to plant 20 trees. And we did all that out there at City Lake Park. We had lots of folks there that all had gloves on because they're not used to having shovels in their hands. But also the folks that are used to doing that, kudos to Danny Zink and his group, able to be there. But those 20 holes were dug. Each of those 20 trees went down in that hole, and we had lots of help from Burkett's group along with the Rotary Club and park staff to be able to fill those in, get the appropriate amount of mulch on them, get the appropriate amount of water on them, and see the opportunity that we have to watch these 20 trees grow over the next many years. I thought it was time for a little bit of a City Hall update. As you know, our architectural design construction plans are out there being done. We expect phase 1 of that to come back at the end of November, the first part of December. We'll have an opportunity to see those as to how we're progressing along. We hope to have then the final draft. The timetable is in March of 18. We might even break ground in April of 18, and we ultimately then will be in there in the latter part, the last quarter sometime of 19, if everything falls into place as we currently are planning all of that. We've had a couple of delays, as you know, over the last year and a half on this project, but we now have got clear sailing and we're moving right along on all of that. Now let's talk a little bit about one of our neighbors, our Tapatio Spring Resort Clubhouse fire. I know that many of you have already heard about this very unfortunate fire that destroyed that entire clubhouse, which included the kitchen and the dining facilities, the pro shops and locker rooms. The good news through all of that is we can replace the building. We cannot replace lives, and everybody got out safe. The staff there were able to salvage as much as they could in terms of golf carts. Boerne Fire Department, which as you know is our only full-time paid staff, responded to that fire. They called in some of our neighboring places, volunteer firemen from the Bergheim, Sisterdale, Leon Springs, and Gray Forest. And by the end of the evening, we had 20 firefighters there doing all they could to put out that fire. Certainly there's going to be an interruption in service out there. Please stay up with what Tapatio has got on their webpage as well as their Facebook page, and see if there isn't some help that you can offer them, because it's a gorgeous place for the people around Boerne, the people that come into Boerne, and we continue to want to be able to have that site, and we all look forward to seeing a new clubhouse being built out there at Tapatio. I wanted to say just a few quick words about the Sutherland Springs tragedy. It was, in fact, very much a tragedy. I cannot imagine of any experience that I have had that would match what those people have gone through in that community. Our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to all those family members, all of those victims, and that whole community there. There are so many times in a small community, even like Boerne, that we start to think that we are exempt from that somehow that's not going to happen in our community. It only happens in the big cities. Well, friends and neighbors, it can happen in Boerne. I just want to assure you to please keep hope, please keep faith, and know that our fire department, our police department, our sheriff's department, elected officials are constantly going through scenarios and training to make sure that, heaven forbid, anything like that ever happens here in Boerne. We've got the best trained personnel to be able to respond to that. So I urge everyone to please keep all those people in your thoughts and prayers as they go through trying to mend those fences there. Don't forget about Veterans Day on Saturday, November the 11th at 11 a.m. of any given year is the time that we celebrate Veterans Day. And it'll be no different this Saturday. We've got a wonderful relationship with our local VFW Post 688. Great folks over there. See them often, interact with them often, and they usually are the ones responsible for putting together this ceremony for us, and as they will do on Saturday. So this Saturday, Veterans Park at 11 a.m. on November the 11th, they'll be there to honor the men and women that have fought and died and continue in active service today, or our veterans. Thank them. And if you got an opportunity and you know one of them, walk up and give them a hug and make sure to give them thanks. Before we close out today, I want to just bring up one other thing. I have noticed that all of a sudden every day that I drive through our historic downtown, there seems to be more and more lights and decorations go up. And it has offered me the opportunity to reflect on going through this past year. That sometimes we tend to focus, because we all have it in our lives every day, negativity and always finding something wrong. Trying to find a way of what defined Boerne in the past and what defines Boerne now in the future. I have said ever since I have been your mayor, and it is an honor to represent you, that it doesn't happen to be a new building, a new development, or whatever have you that we might be discussing, talking about, voting on, whatever the case is. It will be the people and their attitudes at the end of the day that will define what Boerne is. It always has been that way, and it always will be. As the Christmas decorations go up, and we get closer and closer to this time that we spend together, family and friends, use this time to see if we can't all readjust our attitude a little bit more and be more positive. Love our community. Be engaged in our community. And as we come to bring up a particular issue, do it in a very civil and respectful way. So best wishes to you on that challenge, and I for self will also take on that challenge to work on that. So again, we'll thank you for watching one more segment of the live streaming from the Mayor's office of Boerne, Texas. If you've got questions or suggestions, any other topics or things that you are interested in that you would like us to address, please send those in here to Pam at the City of Boerne, and we will be happy to address each one of those. So, I'm not going to see you again until December the 7th. So for all of you, remember what to be grateful for and be very thankful during this Thanksgiving season. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye-bye.